Before we get started with today's video, I have a couple of points to address regarding my Forever Red review. There were a couple of things I got wrong, and a couple of things I really should have added into it. I don't like making mistakes, but you know, it happens sometimes, and I'm more than happy to address them and correct things later on. Consider this a bonus episode of sorts, attached to the main video, which will begin shortly. If you don't want to see any of this preamble regarding my Forever Red review, just skip to the timecode I'll post below and watch the main video. But if you want to see a bit of a follow-up to my Forever Red review with some more interesting facts, then continue watching here. In my Forever Red review, I said that the Lost Galaxy episode To the 10th Power was the first team-up. This was incorrect, as the first team-up occurred during the Power Rangers Zeo episode Rangers of Two Worlds. I guess I just forgot about this because I don't really consider the Alien Ranger thing to be its own season, despite the theme song trying to tell you otherwise. Forever Red was originally planned on being an extra long special, with a number of extended scenes being filmed, but these were not shown when it was trimmed down into a normal length episode. I like to think that in universe, the events of these scenes did happen, but we just didn't see them. These scenes actually explain things, such as the reasoning for the rest of the team having to remain on Earth, which was so that they could stay and protect Turtle Cove, which was the main city of Wild Force. Whether or not this applies to every other team is up in the air though. The scene at the poolside bar is also longer, with Bulk and Skull possibly being aware that Tommy was in fact a Ranger. I'd like to think that they're fully aware he was the Green Ranger and are scared of him. During the scene at the end, when the Red Rangers are talking about why they're great, Andros originally used "I killed Zordon" as a positive, as if he's bragging. Yeah, I'm glad that was changed for obvious reasons. Steve Cardenas was originally going to show up as Rocky, but he had moved house and missed the call. Oops. Danny Slavin had issues with the production crew, and was originally not going to show up for the special, but decided to do so in the end anyway, as a favour to one of the producers. This explains why he looks a bit out of place here if you look hard enough, and why he was not present in the final fist bump at the end. It was not Disney who made them shill the Super Serpentera destroying bike, but Bandai. How did they breathe on the moon? Well, no explanation is really given, but this is Power Rangers, so you kind of just have to accept some things. My own headcanon is that since each of them has a connection to the morphing grid, it gives them some inherent durability and survivability buffs. If, say, Tobias Fionke were to join the team, he'd most definitely die up there. Sorry, Tobias. Now that's out of the way, on to the main event. Power Rangers is a franchise which soon celebrates its 30th anniversary, with many different seasons and teams along the way. Over 20 in fact. These seasons tend to be grouped together based on the company that produced them, broken up into different eras, named after the company, which is what this video will be covering. Now, fans of the franchise will already know all this, as well as what I'm about to explain, but this video is just meant to be a general rundown of something that some people might not yet be aware of. Before we get started, be sure to please leave a like and subscribe because it really helps, and also let me know in the comments what your favourite season is. Mine's Time Force. This separation of the franchise into eras is not an officially recognised feature by the corporate overlords, and the named eras are mainly just something the fans came up with. To the average person, it's probably all just Power Rangers non-stop, with no distinction between them. But there is enough difference between each era to be noticeable, I think. So, let's go back to the 1990s. Haim Saban created the franchise in 1993 by adapting the Japanese Super Sentai series Kyoru Sentai Zyuranger after a series of failed attempts to market an adaptation of an earlier Sentai called Bioman. This new adaptation, with the awesome, thought-provoking name Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, was a smash hit and took the world by storm. This marked the beginning of what's known as the Saban Era. From beginning to end, it included Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Power Rangers Zeo, Power Rangers Turbo, Power Rangers in Space, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, and Power Rangers Time Force. You know what, I'm just going to leave the whole saying Power Rangers thing before the name right there. It's going to get annoying having to say the word Power Rangers every time. Wild Force sort of sits in the middle between this era and the next, because most of the work on it had already done by Saban when the franchise was sold to Disney. Because of the way it was made, I'd probably fit it in with the Saban era. Contained within this era is a sub-era of sorts, known as the Zordon era. This era featured a connected storyline that ran from Mighty Morphin to In Space, where Zordon was an integral character. To many fans, this is considered to be Power Rangers at its peak. Some consider Lost Galaxy to be part of the Zordon era because it closely follows the ending of the so it's up to you whether or not you'd include it there. Following Disney's acquisition of the brand during Wild Force in the early 2000s, Power Rangers entered a new era, known as the Disney Era. This was, from beginning to end, Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, SPD, Mystic Force, Operation Overdrive, Jungle Fury, and RPM. Because of the cheaper production costs in New Zealand when compared to America, production moved there instead. This led to many instances of people's Kiwi accents slipping through.
Welcome, everyone.
What's going on, Dad?
I'm having an important meeting, Mac.
In terms of fan response, the Disney era is mixed, with seasons like Ninja Storm, SPD, RPM and Dino Thunder being viewed very highly, while Mystic Force and especially Operation Overdrive aren't very well loved, though each season does have its fans. Before this era ended, Disney aired a new version of Mighty Morphin with updated special effects. I use the term loosely here. Saban reacquired the franchise after RPM, beginning what's known as the Neo-Saban Era. Due to the Nick Channel's restrictions on airing shows over a certain episode limit, Saban got around it by splitting each season into two, with the second one always being a super version. This was Samurai and Super Samurai, Megaforce and Super Megaforce, Dino Charge and Dino Supercharge, and finally Ninja Steel and Super Ninja Steel. Samurai Sentai Shinkenja was the first Sentai season to be filmed in shiny new HD, which meant that when it came to adapting it into Samurai, the American show got a facelift too, and from then on the show would look prettier. In terms of filming quality anyway. With the exception of maybe Dino Charge, the new Saban era is looked upon even less favourably by Disney with fans, with its stories being considerably more dumbed down, safe retreadings of what they'd initially had success with back in the 90s, but I'm sure it's someone's childhood, and I'm sure they cherish it dearly. Following Ninja Steel, Hasbro bought the brand, beginning the Hasbro Era. This is the most recent and current era, which began with Beast Morphers, and recently Dino Fury. The next season, Cosmic Fury, has been announced, and by the time of me writing this video, has not yet aired. Beyond that, nobody knows. Thank you for watching. I really hope that this has been informative if you weren't aware of any of this. If you're already a Power Rangers fan who already knew it all, then I hope you enjoyed it regardless. If you want to see more Power Rangers content, then please check out my Forever Red review and my video on the connection between Power Rangers and Devil May Cry. There's some interesting stuff in there, and I'm definitely making more content soon. I'm also going to be reviewing Once a Ranger, the anniversary special from Operation Overdrive. So, if you want to see that, stick around. Take care, and may the power protect you.